What is up, my dashing dudes? I am the Hans TV, and I hope that y'all are ready to see some hella entitlement, because we're diving back in to r/entitled parents. Our first post comes from Chuckles13. The voice of God makes my entitled parents abuse their kids. Hey guys, so my wife wanted to share her story with you folks, but didn't want to make an account of her own, so I am posting this for her. Hi guys, so I read a bunch of everyone's stories on this sub recently and felt encouraged to share some of my experiences with my own entitled parents. Here's a collection of random stories and events that I didn't repress, lol. ED equals entitled dad, EM equals entitled mom, EP equals entitled parents. Okay, so my parents were average parents until they converted to a hardcore denomination of Christianity, like Westboro Baptist crazy. It was basically a cult. We lived in a small town where entitled mom homeschooled us, and entitled dad was a cop, and we were pretty happy. But after they became part of the cult, they kind of went off the deep end and into the realm of religious conspiracy paranoia. Pretty much everyone, from Gandhi to MLK to the guy at the grocery store who dyed his hair pink, was the Antichrist to them. That these people were Satan, put here on earth to corrupt and enslave mankind, and them and their cult were the Holy Crusaders, put here to save mankind. I was told I would burn in hell if I wore anything other than long skirts that touched the floor, and that women who had short hair were tranny, butch, fag feminists. I was also taught early on that there was a vengeful God watching over me that hated me and wanted me to burn for my sins, which instilled a sense of dread and guilt that was seared into my brain as long as I can remember. I was also told that I must be submissive to men and all their wants and desires because the Bible commanded it. This not only taught me that I should just let men do whatever they want to me, some creeps took advantage of that during my early years, but it also later contributed to my sexual assault my freshman year in college, which is a whole nother story. They have also started to brainwash both of my little brothers, 4 and 7 years old, to become priests within their cult. They tell them that if they don't, they'll consider them failures. The kicker of it all was that they knew how to appear normal in public. They would take us aside in public and either physically or mentally screw with us, so we would act out and or cry. Then they'd make sure everyone would watch us and then paint a narrative that we were bad kids. My entitled parents were master manipulators. For some reason, I was always more inclined than my siblings to question their motivations and authority, which led me to get branded as the troublemaker. This obviously painted a huge "kick me" sign on my back and made me the target of most of their abuse, but honestly I would gladly do it all again if it meant I was the target and not my siblings. I was the only one who would actually tell them to their face, "You guys suck as parents." Oh ho ho, they made sure I regretted telling them that though. On top of the crushing of self-esteem and destroying of dreams and whatnot, they were firm believers in the phrase, "spare the rod, spoil the child." For those of you who don't get this, it basically means if you don't discipline your child, then you're spoiling them. But instead of a rod, entitled mom would use wooden spoon, hairbrushes, frying pans, ping pong paddles, mop, or whatever was closest to hit us. As time went on, we became numb to the beatings, but we needed to scream and cry, because if not, she'd just get something much worse to make us hurt. I remember her beating me so hard that she snapped her hairbrush on me, and then getting angrier and beat me harder because apparently I broke it. Once I got older though, I got tired of faking tears and I stopped crying when she hit me. Entitled mom knew how much I loved my siblings, so instead she just disciplined my siblings in front of me. So that hurt more than any physical pain to me ever could have. Entitled parents reminded me daily how they regretted having me and that they wished they could leave me, but didn't because they were good parents. They would go on and on about how lucky I was to have them and that no one else would be able to put up with me. They bullied my older sister a lot too behind her back, even to the point where on her wedding day, they told the whole bridal party that she looked like a transvestite because of all the makeup on her face. I was the only one who didn't laugh. Depression and anxiety took hold when I was around 12. I tried to let them know, but they didn't believe in mental illnesses. They believed either you were crazy or you weren't. They threatened me and said that I would be locked up in an asylum if anything was wrong with me. So I kept everything to myself and, like any middle schooler, decided to get a diary to get out all of my thoughts. Now, because of being abused for so long, I started to truly believe I deserved what was happening to me. This led to self-destructive behavior as I hated who I was. I began to have self-harm/suicidal thoughts, and my diary gave me an outlet. However, this all came to an end one day when I was called into the other room and I saw my parents standing in front of my bed holding my diary out in front of me. They had searched my room and read my diary. Call me ignorant, but I hoped after them reading about how I was feeling, they would be concerned and try to talk to me about what I was feeling or offer me help. But instead, they slapped me, called me a drama queen, threatened to send me away, blamed me for being an ungrateful child, and grounded me. So I was left home alone to deal with my mental health with no more diary to comfort me. Now, entitled mom is fat, and I mean F-A-T fat. Like, every time she got into the car, I was afraid the car would tip over. So she obviously hated her body. Hey, I'm all about body positivity because I'm a bit on the chubby side now too, but instead of trying to better herself, she decided to take her insecurities out on me. Starting at the age of 13, she would call me fat, a pig, lard ass, and would comment on everything I ate. She told me to start running because I needed to lose weight or no one could love me. So after 2 years of this I started running and went on a diet. It quickly spiraled into full-blown anorexia. Shocking, I know. When I started to lose large amounts of weight really quickly, entitled parents finally started to compliment me and told me to keep it up because I looked much more attractive now, and now maybe I could get a date. My hair eventually started to fall out. I dropped 70 pounds. My eyes got dark circles under them. My skin turned gray and cold and eventually stopped having my period. Stupidly, I still tried reaching out to them as I didn't know who else I could tell. They told me they knew and that I would grow out of it. It wasn't just abuse though, it was also neglect. I was never taken in for a physical my entire life. I never saw a gynecologist when I went through puberty. I was never taught sex ed. I didn't even know what a penis looked like until I was assaulted. I also was forced to wear the same few pairs of underwear for 8 years. Entitled mom, however, would get new clothes frequently though and go out on weekly expensive dates with entitled dad, but getting me new underwear was a waste of money. Just an insight into my daily routine. Entitled mom would leave me alone with my 3 younger siblings until noon. Entitled mom stayed in her room the entire time. She would only come out at noon because she ate the lunch I served for my siblings. After her eating, she would leave into her own thing, leaving me to put the kids down for naps. Entitled mom would like to, at times, take a nap when the kids took naps. She didn't like to be woken up by anything. When they woke up, I would take them into another room and entertain them until entitled mom woke up. When entitled mom woke up, I would let them out of the room and entitled mom would take charge for a bit to make sure I knew who was boss. In reality, she would sit on the couch and be on her phone while the kids played around her. During this time, I was expected to wash the dishes, clean up their toys, and study for school. I would also have to make sure dinner was on the table before entitled dad got home, and then clean it all up after everyone was done. After I was done doing the dishes once again, it came time for family prayer time, where they made all of us come together and pray the rosary and tell everyone their special intentions, which usually included some weird conspiracy theory from entitled mom which she had spent all day researching on her phone or for vengeance to be taken. I would put the kids to bed and then that was it. Needless to say, I didn't have much time for studying. So in order to pass the impossible curriculum and standards they signed me up for, I cheated on my homework to pass. Eventually, they found out about it. When entitled mom found out, she got so mad she threw me down the stairs. As I was on the ground, she called me a fucking stupid, worthless piece of shit and forced me to do sit-ups until she was satisfied. I had blisters on my ass the next day. So, this is where I'm calling it quits today. I didn't want to overwhelm you guys with a never-ending depressing story, lol, but I do have stories about how I ended up leaving home if y'all are interested. It gets pretty crazy. Thanks for taking the time to read this. I'll answer any questions when I can. So, that was infuriating. Our next post comes from Ori Maria. You're holding ice cream for your sister? You're a greedy pig. My friend sent me this story, so details might be off. His story is plain text. Context is italic, and my additions are bold italic. Here goes. So, I was in a park in town with my family, me, my sister, my grandma, and my mom. This took place after my mom decided to go shopping and left us in the park. Me and my sister decided to walk around a bit to stretch our legs, while grandma sat where she was, as her legs weren't what they used to be, and she didn't want to slow us down. As we walked around, my sister decided to go to the toilet, while I bought us both ice cream. I had just gotten the 2 ice creams when who should arrive but entitled kid and entitled parent. I didn't pay them much attention. The kid obviously wanted ice cream, but as I said, I wasn't paying much attention. Then the entitled parent and kid walk up to me, resulting in this conversation. Me equals me, EP entitled parent, EK entitled kid, entitled parent, hello. Me, hi. Entitled parent, I see you have 2 ice creams and my little darling really wants one. Can you give one to her? She sounded really sweet, but my sister would kill me if I gave away her ice cream. And it was also bought with my money. Me, I'm sorry, but this one is for my sister. Entitled parent, but my child is so sweet. Can't you just give it to her? Me, I'm sorry, but no. My sister would kill me. Entitled kid looks sad and starts to snivel. Then brings about a change in entitled parent. Entitled parent, look what you've done. You've made my darling cry, so you better give her that ice cream now. Me, again, no. If you want your child to have an ice cream, go buy her one. By now, she seems completely mad. Entitled parent, now listen to me, you fat greedy pig. I know you're giving both to yourself. I mean, look at you. You look like the type to keep 2 ice creams to yourself and not share. You've made a child cry, you fat, ugly bastard, so give it now. My friend is on the larger side, but he isn't what I'd call fat. He's a rugby player, and so he's mostly muscle. Me, entitled parent, turns to entitled kid. Now you go and get that ice cream. I hold the ice creams up over my head so she can't get them, and entitled kid starts to scream. I can feel my temper rising and a crowd has begun to watch. At the same time, my sister exits the toilet. Entitled parent, give my child back her. My sister walks straight past the commotion and takes her ice cream. Me to my sister, let's go. We walk away, the entitled parent gobsmacked, and the entitled kid screaming her head off. My sister doesn't even ask what's going on. Our final post for the day comes from Afro. Entitled mom tries to buy my dog. When I refuse, she claims it's hers. So I promised I'd post this, so here we go. I'm still new to Reddit, so if there's anything I can improve, let me know. Okay, here it is. The short version is in the comments if you don't feel like reading everything, but I recommend you read the long version though. This happened a while ago. I was at a park near my house walking my dog. He's an English bulldog and he is 3 years old, so he's basically cute as hell. As I was walking him, a woman, entitled mom, probably in her late 40s, I don't know, I'm not good with ages, and her son, entitled kid, probably like 10, walked past me. The entitled kid was on his phone, like an iPhone 8 or whatever, and wasn't paying attention. But then the entitled kid looks at me and my dog and goes, "Aww," and starts to pet him. Now, I don't like it very much when people pet my dog, even when they ask, and 99% of the time they do. But I always try to be nice and let them pet him, especially because I know he attracts a lot of people, especially kids. But this kid just ran towards my dog and started petting him like it was his dog. He was squeezing him very hard and my dog was obviously not liking it. So I said, "Sorry, but I'm in a rush," and walked off. As I was leaving, I saw entitled kid whispering something to the entitled mom, and then she said in a rude and disgusted tone, "How much for that thing?" I didn't get it at first and said, "How much for what?" Entitled mom said, "The dog. How much for the dog?" I thought it was a joke at first and laughed a little bit and said, "Aha, sorry, but he's not for sale," and smiled. But at this point, the entitled mom is looking very serious and says, "Why are you laughing? I'm serious. I'll give you $500 for it." Now, I was obviously not going to sell my dog, but he costed like $1,200 when me and my family bought it, so I obviously said no. But the entitled mom was not giving up that easily. She said, "Just take the money. $500 is way too much money for that anyway." Now, at this point, I'm not taking any more shit from her and her son, so I just said, "I'm sorry, but I'm not selling you my dog. And if I did, you couldn't just take it like that. You need to know his health issues, eating habits, and a lot of things before you could take him. If you want a dog, get one yourself." At this point, she snaps and says, "I need this dog. My son needs it. He has autism." Classic Karen. "We have a much bigger house and we can take care of him much better than you, poor brat." I say, "I don't care if you have a big house or that your son has autism. I'm not selling you my dog. And if you were looking for a support dog, he's not one." Then I turn around and when it seemed like it was the end, she yells at the top of her lungs, "Help! This kid stole my son's dog!" At this moment, all I could think was, well, then a security guard comes up to us and the mom proceeds to explain her side of the story. A bunch of bull, which the security guard didn't seem to believe. And then I tell him the truth. The mom yells again, "He's lying. It's my dog. Give it to me now." Then this literally tries to take the leash out of my hand, but I don't let her. Then I'm just about done with the whole thing and say, if it's your dog, then what's his name? Entitled Mom's face just turns red and she very awkwardly says, Scotter? What a stupid name for a bulldog. And then I show the security a tag on my dog's collar with his real name. His name is Boris. Then the entitled mom tries to walk away with her son, but the security guard stops her and starts talking to her. I didn't hear what he said because I went home. I had had enough. Thank God she didn't get Boris. He is way too of a good boy for her. I hate how rich people think they can get everything they want because they're rich. Stupid Karen. Well, alright, my dashing dudes. That is going to do it for today's episode of r/Entitled Parents. I know there weren't as many stories as there normally are in this series, but the ones that I had were pretty long, barring the last one. So, I hope you liked the stories. If you did, I'll leave them in the description below. And if you liked the video, go ahead and leave a sub, a like, and a comment down below with what you'd like to see me read next. A huge thank you to everyone who has subscribed in the past few weeks. Again, as I've said, it honors me so much that you guys have joined the Dashing Dudes. But with that being said, I will see you in the next video.